Chapter 13. The walls were closing in on Michelle. She kept banging, hoping that by some miracle someone would hear them. But she knew no one would come. It's no use, Michelle. Just conserve your energy. Mr. Aders will come back soon and open the door, Derek said. But what if we run out of air before he gets here? She swore the air was getting thicker, harder to breathe. Derek pointed. It's not. Look at the lantern. The flame is strong. She turned to observe the lantern that rested on a makeshift shelving system at the side of the chamber's wall. She hadn't noticed it before Derek pointed it out. She frowned. Why are they using oil lanterns in this day and age? It will suck what little air there's left in here. I'm going to turn it off. We have the battery-powered lamps on the walls for lighting. We don't need it, and we need to conserve what little air we do have. But before she could take a step toward it, the battery-powered lights dimmed until they shut down completely. What the hell is happening here? She screamed, feeling like everything was spiraling out of control. She was a puppet on strings that kept being passed from one puppet master to another. Maybe that's why they use oil lanterns too. Just in case the battery-operated lights falter, Derek reasoned. He scratched his head and added, though the lantern's light is weak. You can barely see anything in here. A shuffling noise caressed Michelle's ear. She turned, trying to decipher where the sound originated. Did you hear that? Where is it coming from? She let her gaze scan the entire, obscure perimeter. Derek answered, Yeah, I heard it. I think it's coming from the tunnel at the back of the chamber. There's a tunnel in here? Why didn't anyone tell me? Michelle wondered. It's in the schematics booklet they handed out to us on that first day, Derek pointed out. Michelle hadn't had a chance to review the booklet yet. Does it say where the tunnel leads? To a lower chamber. They're all connected, Derek replied. So, you think it's another group making its way to us? She asked, hoping he'd say yes. But the truth was it didn't sound like people approaching. Whoever or whatever it was coming their way was dragging their feet. A moan rebounded around them. She'd heard that sound before in her dream. She knew what was approaching. When two red shiny eyes appeared in the darkness, she gasped. The creature from her nightmare, and hidden in the darkness the day before, was here, in the chamber with them. What is that? Derek stuttered. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to hang around here any longer to find out. Let's get the hell out of here. She turned back to the door and pounded for dear life. Help. We're stuck in here. Derek followed her example, kicking and punching the door, hollering. Help us. Please. He looked over his shoulder. It's coming closer. Michelle turned, desperately searching for anything to use to protect herself. Although the creature hadn't shown its cards, Michelle had no doubt it meant to do them harm. Had Nolan White, the student who disappeared last month, encountered it, would it make Michelle and Derek disappear too? It released a myriad of sounds that ranged from a shriek to a gargled growl. Its mouth opened wide. Frayed cloth hung under its bony chin. What few teeth it possessed were rotten, hanging protruding out of its leathery lips. It directed its focus toward Derek, veering in his direction. It opened up the area for Michelle to run past it in search of a weapon to use against it. Unfortunately, there was nothing she could use except maybe one of the pots they'd dug up. It was a priceless artifact that most probably had been promised to a museum, but she didn't care. It was either use it to keep it off of Derek or let it attack him. Derek cowered against the door as if, by some miracle, there was a magic lever that would make it open. Michelle charged, raising the clay pot high above her head. With a war cry, she slammed it as hard as she could against its shrouded head. It hollered in agony and then slowly turned around, targeting her instead. It appeared unfazed, as if the pottery had only caused it a minor discomfort. Michelle backed away. No, get away from me, she pleaded. But the creature was undeterred in its pursuit. It was progressively getting closer. When it was a mere foot away, Derek smashed the oil lantern against its head. It broke into smithereens, its fire igniting the creature's shrouded body. It wailed in agony, thrashing about as it burned alive or dead.
Chapter 14. Derek shielded his eyes from the intense light and heat. It felt like the skin on his face would burn off. Michelle was protecting herself as well. The fire began to spread and seemed to burn everything in its path. even the vines and moss on the chamber's mud walls. The air was thick with smoke, stinging his eyes. He blinked, continuously trying to see, but all he could glimpse was fire and smoke. It was getting closer. Soon they'd run out of space or air. He had no idea which would be first. Either would spell their death. He coughed, which made him breathe in more contaminated air, and then he coughed some more. Michelle wasn't faring any better. She had collapsed to the ground. He fought to pick her up, get her farther away from the flames and smoke, but it was a hopeless battle. He was overcome. His oxygen-deprived lungs were failing him. Darkness encroached on the edges of his vision. He knew this was the end. He and Michelle would die in this crypt. A faint squeaking sound caught his attention. He turned to see the door open. Mr. Ader's eyes widened in alarm. He hollered for others to come to help, right before he ran into Derek's side. He began to pull him out, saying, "Derek, you're all right. The fire won't get you." In Derek's foggy mind, he heard someone else say, "We got Michelle out too." But the person didn't say if she was going to be okay. Tears filmed his eyes as he imagined the worst.